Hello and welcome to this nighttime taste challenge, overnight taste challenge, as night comes to a close. But we have, thing is sweating. We have Seagram's 80. I got it backwards. We have this should be first. Well, it depends really how you want to look at that. Quality House. Introduced in 1980. And Seagram's 83 introduced in 2022, depending on how you look at that, because really Seagram's 83 has been around since at least the 1930s, like 1933. I think it was introduced to honor the 50th anniversary of the founding of Seagram's Rye Distillery in Canada. But it's a Canadian brand, Seagram's 83, 80 proof Canadian whiskey. Okay. I never saw it in the United States. I just saw people posting photos online and stuff like that. But then this started to suddenly show up in Louisiana in the summer of 2022. So I thought it was a very strange thing. And I started to try to research. It's not listed on the Sazerac website, so you can't get any information that way. You can get some stuff from, say, distributors, their sell sheets, and they just talk about how fabulous it is and all of that. The bottle was a little bit smudged, so I was wiping it. But now they have this American version. American blended whiskey with natural flavors and caramel color. 83 proof. 83 proof for 83, Seagram's 83, honoring the year 1883. Craig Swinson says, good morning. Good morning to you, Craig. Okay, thanks for watching this overnight review. Quality House, all I could find out was that the trademark was acquired in 1980, but this bottle isn't even trademarked. They don't even have a trademark for this design. It's just showing. This is just a picture of a crown. This light is bright. So, and it's got QH in the background. You'd have to look at it up close, in real life, not over the internet. Okay, technically, and I bought this at Villa Liquors in Texarkana, Arkansas. It was like $5.89. So I figured, what the heck? Never seen it in Louisiana. I never seen it anywhere except for Texarkana, Arkansas, Villa Liquors. Seagram's, I'm seeing this everywhere. One store I noticed had it in the Canadian section. And I told them this is not Canadian whiskey, it's American. So they had to correct that. Put it by the American whiskeys. And their manager said, the distributor guy put it there. I said, he doesn't know his own product. Okay. Yeah, there's Seagram's Canadian whiskey, Seagram's VO Gold, Seagram's 83, the original one, the 80 proof. But this one, the 83 proof, it clearly says, I said, look at the label, American. There wasn't much of a story behind that, but that's what happened. All right. This one's a little darker. Yeah, the Seagram's is a little darker. Why did I say that the Quality House wasn't technically whiskey? Because it's less than 80 proof. So the U.S. government would consider it a distilled specialty product. Distilled specialty product. or distilled spirit specialty. I think they call it DS, distilled spirit specialty product. So it's not a whiskey with, see, the Seagram's 83 is a whiskey with natural flavors. But this one would be classified as a flavored whiskey, which can be as low as 60 proof. Now, you might be saying to yourself, and I agree with what you're saying to yourself, you might be saying, well, that's just a bunch of mumbo jumbo, legalistic mumbo jumbo. It is legalistic mumbo jumbo, and it's done that way on purpose so that you can basically have the rule and then not have the rule at the same time. You can have the rule and not have the rule at the same exact time. Like we talked about bourbon, you read the Tax and Trade Bureau website, bourbon is absolutely not allowed to have flavoring or coloring added. No way, Jack. Bourbon cannot have flavoring or color added. But you can sell something called bourbon with flavoring added. It's a new product. It's a distilled specialty spirit flavor bourbon. Okay, you say, oh man, that is so wild. I know it's silly, huh? All right. So it's not a true bourbon. It's bourbon with flavoring added. Oh, well, these are both aged at least 4 years. And because we know that because there's no age statement. And the price point, $19.99 for the handle of Seagram's 83, and it was $5.89 for the bottle of Quality House. Now, so it'd be about $8 if you bought the handle for $19.99 and you converted it down to $7.50. You're getting it for about $8.38, I think it is. So neither one of these is expensive. So is the Seagram's going to be $3 better? Yeah, I believe that it is $3 better. We're talking about regular bottles now, not this size, that size, this size, that size. All right. Yeah, smell like corn, a lot of grits. You say, what is corn grits? Just what it sounds like. It's corn that is granulated down to like hard granules. You can't eat them. I mean, I guess you could. I don't know why you would, but they're made to, you add water to them and you heat them up and then they'll get soft. And you eat it like or like cream of wheat, that kind of thing. But they also take them and then they make a mash out of them with the water and the yeast, and they ferment it. And if you read the Tax and Trade Bureau guidelines, it does not say they have to use corn grits. It just say corn. So could they use corn syrup to make bourbon? I don't know. I don't know if it would convert correctly. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a food scientist, nor have I made any claims to be that. Somebody was saying that on the beer reviews. Who made you a beer expert? I said, I wasn't aware that I was one. And I had never made any statements to that effect. So what are you talking about? No response. Yeah, they pretty much smell the same, like corn and wood. Okay. Like, well, the aroma generally attributed to whiskey. That's the legal definition, and they follow that. It smell like whiskey. I didn't say expensive whiskey. I didn't even say mid-range whiskey. They just smell like basic whiskey. Nothing bad, but nothing too elaborate. Okay. Taste time. I think I noticed a little Heaven Hillian type flavor note, which is that honeydew melon. Never picked that up before yet with the Quality House, but Heaven Hill got a weird undertaste. It does say natural flavorings. You might say, well, honeydew extract is the natural flavor. I seriously doubt they're using that honeydew melon extract, but it would be allowed if it's a natural flavor. All right, Little Oak corn. Yeah, it's kind of, You know what I mean? No, I mean, Drewski Brewski says, cheers, Ronald the Riot. Cheers to you, DB. All right. A little bit of a creme brulee type thing, like, you know, the burnt sugar or caramelized sugar, or like a marshmallow that you put over the fire on a stick and it got brown, dark brown or black. I recall that before with the Seagram's 83. Yeah. I think there's something that they're trying to get at, like make it taste like a Canadian flavored thing, like that maple syrup type weird oddity, oddball, strange, eccentric, non-standard thing. I don't think they're trying to trick people into think it's Canadian, since it's got American written across the front of it, big letters. But yeah, it just tastes kind of strange when you're a stranger. The whiskey comes out from the rain. Actually, the Heaven Hill Quality House tastes more like whiskey than the Sazerac Seagrams 83. Now, how you like that? Yeah, you can tell that it's stronger. 83 proof versus 70 proof. That's too wide of a gap. You can't get it confused. It's too wide of a gap. Too much of a disparity. Which one would I buy? Well, I bought both, as you know. I guess I'll go with this. Well, I'd buy the Seagrams because I don't go for that below 80 proof business. When you drop in below 80 proof, to me, that's like no. You're going into no land. I'd rather go to Fansville. If the Quality House was 80 proof and had this flavor, I would choose it. And we can get that version because it has a different label, and it's called Heaven Hill Quality House Kentucky Blended Whiskey. And the price is exactly the same as this one, about $5.99. So that's the answer. Okay. This doesn't claim to be Kentucky blended, just say blended whiskey, because they're probably using spirits from others. Well, they're almost certainly using spirits from other states, or they would call it specifically Kentucky thingamajig. Just like this Seagrams 83 says American blended whiskey. Don't say Kentucky. It's bottled in Kentucky, but doesn't say it's Kentucky blended whiskey. Why? Because it's using spirits from other states. That is perfectly legal, as long as you label it correctly. You could use whiskey from all 50 states. That'd be an interesting product, huh? Call it All America Whiskey. So I'm going to say that's the Seagrams over here. It is. Haha, I got it right. Does that mean I'm a great whiskey taster? No, it means that they're too different, that they're so different one from another, you couldn't get them confused. They have a common flavor. That's the corn. You know, distilled corn, alcohol flavor. That's the common flavor. But the divergence is all on the back notes, the back flavors. Here you got the creme brulee. Here you got the standard bourbon flavor. You say, I bet the straight bourbons in these products are of the highest quality. Yeah, sure. That's why they are so cheap, because it's the highest quality. But it's at least 4 years old. And we talked about that in the past, how they probably are dump products. A dump product is what we call products that can use various whiskeys each batch. Like in January, they might be using Ancient Age bourbon to make the Seagrams 83. Stuff that didn't come out quite right. Next month, February, might be using very old Barton bourbon. Didn't come out right. Next month, March, they might be using Eagle Rare. Because it might not have been processed correctly. Because they do have some off barrels, and we know that's the truth because Jack Daniels tells you that right there on their website. Right there on the website, it has a frequently asked questions section. They said, "What about this Jack Daniels green label?" Which they don't list on their product list, by the way. It says, "Well, you can't even get that in Louisiana. You got to go to Texas." It says, "Well, those are barrels that aren't properly exposed to the light and the heat, and or whatever off conditions, and they're not aged as long, so they'll bottle it as Jack Daniels number 7, not old number 7, Jack Daniels number 7, green label." So what they're saying is an inferior. It's like the ones, like I just said, the ones that didn't come out correctly. My case, I couldn't tell. I thought it tasted better than regular Jack Daniels. Show how unrefined my palate is. You say you rather the inferior one to the inferior one. Yeah, thought I did. Plus, it looks better. The label's nicer. But anyway, that's one of those white whale type whiskeys that people be looking for all the time, including me, because I can't get it. I don't think there's too many people looking for Heaven Hills Quality House. I know I wasn't, but I saw it and I said, I gotta buy it. It's so strange. So anyway, the winner is Seagram's 83, but I wouldn't say it wins by much. It really is a tie, but only by virtue of the proof makes it the winner. So if you want to try these products out, go ahead. You wouldn't be wasting much money. It wouldn't cost you much. It shouldn't. They're at the bottom, All right, what's coming up tomorrow for Tuesday's Taste Challenge? It's going to be another Sazerac product, Old Thompson from Glenmore Distilling. Glenmore's the people that came up with Old Thompson. It was a guy that was their distillery master. I think his name was something like John Thompson, and he got the brand started in 1904. He named it after himself, Old Thompson. I think he had 2 sons working there, and I think they his nickname was like Old Thompson because it's in comparison to his 2 younger sons, the 2 kids working there, or something like that. And then they had Old Thompson whiskey, and it's still around. I didn't say it was popular. I say it's still around. And he kept the company. Well, his family, he didn't live till 1991, I don't think. But his family kept it until, like, I think they said 1991, Glenmore, but then they sold it to various people. Barton got a hold of it, and then somebody got a hold of them. Like between 91 and 2009, that 18-year period, it kept changing ownership, and then Sazerac got a hold of it in 2009, and then they demolished the whole distillery, and then they rebuilt it because it was so dilapidated. They said it was too dilapidated to fix up. Like, it was no purpose in trying to renovate it. It had to be decimated. So I saw the whole video. It was great. They hired this demolition and demolition and construction company type thing, and they tore it all down. And they made this time-lapse video, and they showed they built it back up, and they put all this super modern equipment in, like when it opened 2 years ago, 2021, I think it was. And then they said they spent so much money on it. And then they started distilling rum. They hadn't distilled there for years. It got so, like they said, their equipment was so old, they didn't even do any distilling. All they did was blend whiskeys and various liquors, and they bottled them. But now they distill rum. So if you buy these Sazerac rums these days, it doesn't say Caribbean rum anymore. It says Caribbean style rum. It's pretty funny. And the guy told me on the phone, he said, we can bottle 1 million bottles a day at that plant. Those little mini bottles, you can buy them in a pack of like 20, 50 milliliter. He said, yeah, 1 million a day. It bottles all their stuff like that, like 99 brands, Sazerac flavored vodka. Well, you know, they make so many. It doesn't even, it's like an endless array, and they just buy. So it's amazing, their equipment. And they ship it all across the United States. All right, any other live streams today, says Craig? No, I don't think so. There's too much football coming on. That's why I'm doing it now. Got Tulane and Southern California in the Sugar Bowl. And then we have other games all throughout the day. So I said, let me do it early because people are not going to be interested in watching this later, and I can't blame them. People, including me. So Tuesday morning at dawn instead of overnight. Well, we are almost at dawn right now. Then we'll do the Old Thompson. Then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so forth. Then eventually, it won't be too long, we'll run out of blended whiskeys, and then it's on to Canadian blended. American whiskey. I meant to say run out of American blended whiskey, and then it's on the Canadian. And I have a fabulous one, not some old little cheap brand like these. No disparage against them, but a real credible brand. You know, a brand that's people will say, yeah, that's worth getting. You know, that's a good one. $35 a bottle, but yeah. And then it'd be on to Ireland. Do I have anything to show and tell recent purchases? Yeah, real quick. This was at Mathern's Friday, and it was $3.99. I'm gonna show you. When I show these products, people get the impression that I'm lying, like I just want attention or whatever, but I'm not lying. Turn the light off. Got dark, huh? Seagram's 7 apple. This is apple, naturally flavored apple whiskey. And this is what they call a flavored whiskey, a distilled specialty spirit, a distilled specialty product. All right. Or if you want to call it a liqueur, a whiskey liqueur, because it's what it is. Seagram's apple. They also make a cinnamon, which they don't list on the website, but I saw it Saturday. And they make the honey. This was $3.99, brown bottle too. $3.99 at Mathern's, huh? That's like 85% discount. So you can imagine those did not last very long. I told somebody that was over there, I said, somebody I knew, he's a Budweiser distributor guy. I said, you better buy your bottles now, because it's not going to be there when you leave work today, because he had to do their beer stocking. He said, yeah, last week they had that Bailey's colada. He said, I was going to buy it, but by the time I left, it was all gone. I said, stuff like that is not going to last 2 hours. So I think he went and pulled a bottle of it. And there was another one, a liter bottle of Captain Morgan apple, sliced apple, they call it green apple. You could see people one lady came in and bought 4 bottles. I was just watching people. You know, it's fun to watch people shop. Um, so you know, I don't know the story of what's going on around here in this state. It makes you suspicious to an extent. I said that about Discount Depot and Savannah Discount. I don't know how that's happening, but that's not really my problem. I'm just taking advantage of it. All right, thanks everybody.